So I'm here with American comedian Kurt Metzger, who will be in Batavia, Illinois this weekend, Thursday through Saturday, at the, what's it called?
Comedy Vault.
The Comedy Vault, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds like they've got some valuable jokes inside that comedy club.
I'll be doing my valuable new jokes there.
The reason why I'm telling you this, because it is Christmas time. And we got some sad news.
Whoa.
The Christmas tree outside of Fox News New York City offices was set on fire on Tuesday night. As of Wednesday morning, the NYPD reports one suspect in custody. No injuries were reported, and the investigation into the incident is ongoing. Now, some people think that it's an inside job, and I think I have a picture of the guy they have in custody. Here it is. That's what the guy... come on, that's a joke. So do you want... But here, do you want to see the fire? Here it is. We have a video of the fire.
Wait a minute. You think that Hannity false flagged a war on Christmas attack?
Yes, I do.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. They're doing a false flag to get the war on Christmas kicked off. That's what I am saying. That.
Yeah.
Yes. So you don't agree with? You don't think that's possible, Kurt?
I was going to blame Seth Rogen.
All right, here we go. See, there's the fire. There's a cop right there just watching it burn. There's another cop.
Boy, a Christmas tree on fire. There's something really racist about it. I don't know what it is,
but
there's something like it.
I heard Fox News had also made this tree like red, white, and blue, a red, white, and blue Christmas tree, which sounds a little obnoxious. But that's what I heard they did. That's what I heard they did. Hey, Jimmy, what's obnoxious about being a patriot? Go ahead.
Well, it's Jesus' birthday, and how else would he want to celebrate than?
That's right.
With a red, white, and blue Christmas.
Because Jesus is an American. We all know that.
It's so funny. Like that level of like corniness is like almost sentimental now to me. Of like where someone be like, yeah, I have a red, white, and blue Christmas tree. Where you hold that in your head like that's a.
Well, here's what Brian Kilmeade tweeted out in response to that happening. He said, a homeless whack job burned our Fox Christmas tree to the ground. Lawless New York City. Thanks NYPD and FDNY for scrambling so rapidly to help. Well, if it's lawless, how come the cops were there to help so rapidly? Either pick which one. Either it's lawless or you guys got to have a great response from the cops. Which is it?
Oh, my God, Jimmy.
By the way, and go ahead.
How much you want to bet is when they show the homeless guy, he's going to look a lot like Santa, and this is almost like a miracle Christmas movie. It's not a homeless guy, it's Santa.
But I think we all noticed what was out of place in that. So in the United States, because we live in a capitalistic hellscape, the richest country in the world, that renders half of its population poor or low income, can't afford a $500 emergency, and 80% of workers live paycheck to paycheck in the richest country the face of the earth has ever made. And what do you call a system that does that? You call that a failed system. That's a failed to 80% of workers aren't lazy. 80% of workers are working. They just can't. That's what, but they just don't make enough money to do better than living paycheck to paycheck. And so then we have this huge homeless population, right? Because we don't have social services, we don't have health care. Look at all those people who go 600,000 people go bankrupt every year just because they get sick. In America, again, the richest country in the world. Now Brian Kilmeade doesn't go, wow. He doesn't go, wow, that's horrible. We have a mentally ill person who can't get services, who's now rendered homeless, the most desperate position you can be in the richest country in the world. And he's angry at the homeless guy. And that reveals a cancer inside of Brian Kilmeade's soul. That's what that tells you. That he's got a blackened soul. That's what that tells you. Now, maybe not all the way, but certainly right there.
If you live in New York for a length of time, I will say it does, much like your fingernails will turn black underneath. New York naturally makes you very numb
to homelessness.
I would say of any city I've ever been in, that's the one where you get like that and glue traps from mice, which are like the cruelest mousetrap.
Yeah.
But like it's like everybody lives on top of each other all the time. Now, I don't know where he lives or what his like commute is, but it's crazy. It really is,
I'm sure he lives on the tough part of Fifth Avenue.
I'm just like, how does he know?
But
And
how do
like,
you, but let me put it this way, Kurt.
yeah.
You're a news person and you don't know not to tweet that about the most vulnerable people in our society.
I think he thinks I think he goes, oh, this is an opportunity to tweet that about the most vulnerable people.
Yes. Well,
I think that's what he says.
Somebody tweeted out, hey, tell us how you really feel about the homeless. And someone goes, oh, fuck the poor. Merry Christmas. That's how he really feels. And someone said, there, I fixed it for you. Homeless poor individual in need of mental health support lit our Christmas tree on. That's how he should have said it. A homeless poor individual in need of mental health support. And when is our government going to take care of this homeless problem in this country? And by the way, Brian Kilmeade, you're a millionaire and you're a news person. You should have greater awareness of that. Okay, go ahead, Kurt.
But are you taking into account that how many of our star-spangled Christmas trees cannot afford a $500 emergency? That was one of the lucky trees.
You get a chance to demonize homeless. It's Christmas for you, Brian. That's right. How dare he become homeless? Yeah. Well, I guess, and then this guy, well, I guess he's not homeless anymore. Now, I'm laughing that this guy would make that joke about a guy having to go to prison. Now he's mentally ill, and now he's going to put him in jail. And that's what that joke is saying. I guess that's funny because he'll be in jail now because we won't put somebody in a mental hospital because Ronald Reagan closed them all down and created this homeless crisis. And so, but we will put you in jail where it costs $70,000 a year to put somebody in a jail cell. We won't give you $70,000 to go get an apartment or give you $70,000 in health care, but we will put you in jail. Go ahead, Kurt.
I thought, you know how I took that? I thought he was like saying that Brian Kilmeade has inadvertently advertised how to get off the street quickly by burning down the Fox Christmas tree. I thought he was I thought he was like,
oh, so maybe so that guy, that was his plan to get himself some shelter, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like it hadn't occurred to me that's a thing. Like,
yeah,
ways to go in, burning down the Fox Christmas tree.
Well, Tommy Chong did have a good. He had the best tweet about this. He goes, "I'm glad the dude that set fire to the New York City Christmas tree is finally in custody." So they got him. They got him.
A Christmas miracle.
It was the Grinch, and he was dressed up as Santa. He's trying to throw you off. That's what that is.
Is that what that is? The Grinch?
Oh, it looks like the Grinch to me. It's all green.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. But we all know it's a false flag. We all know it was done by Sean Hannity. So anyway, just a tip to the newsmen out there. When you refer to homeless people, you're referring to people who literally don't have a home, mostly because they're either a drug addict, mentally ill, or maybe they went broke because they got physically ill. It's crazy that we have 600,000 homeless people in the richest country in the world. And that should be where your ire goes at the oligarchy that creates this situation and tolerates it. Instead of, I have a plan to fix homelessness. So if they say 600,000 people are homeless in America, now if you give them a stipend of each of those people $1,000 a month for housing, a stipend, I'll tell you, it's like $7.2 billion a year. Let me see. Hey Siri, what's 600,000 times 12?
600,000 is an integer. 600,000 is also.
Yeah, I know, but what is it? It's got to be 7.2 billion. Hey Siri, what's 600,000 times 12? Yeah, 7.2 billion. Siri, mother. What? Hey Siri. What is 600,000 times 12?
600,000 times 12 is 7,200,000.
7,200,000. So, what would that be a month? If you gave $1,000 to 600,000 people, what's 1,000 times 600,000? That's what you have to ask first, right? Hey Siri, what's 1,000 times 600,000? It's going to be 6 million, right?
600,000 is 600 million.
600 million. So then you go, hey Siri, what's 600 million times 12? Hey, Suri. What's 600 million times 12?
600 million times 12 is 7,200,000,000.
Yeah, I was right. 7.2 billion. So we got there the long way, but that's what it is. So why? So there, that's just 7 billion a year. You know, they increased the defense budget by at least 50 billion every year, pretty much. So we got the money. We print our own money. We could totally do this. $7.2 billion. You give every homeless person a stipend. Go ahead, Kurt.
Do you think? Because if you're at the point where, I mean, I lived in New York for years, and like, for example, being in LA now, just seeing the homelessness is shocking in a way that in New York, because my experience in living in New York is like, even if you were paying for a place, it's kind of expensive, it was still pretty shitty. Like, it's a remarkable rat race there, where and so. Like it's shocking here, and I don't know why they can't. Every city just has a huge amount of graft. Where in New York, there's this famous one: is some mobster, Gas Pipe Casso, is running this Angels homeless outreach. You know, and it was a shelter, and they did have a shelter, but they were skimming most of the money for themselves. That's the kind of stuff that goes on all the time, and I don't know how. Especially people if they're addicts, or where you could just give them. You know, you have to set up stuff for them. Besides that, you give them the money. That's just when I was an OxyContin addict, and if you gave me $1,000 a month stipend, I can tell you 700 would go to OxyContin.
No, I mean if you give it to them like in the form of, you know, like when you give people food stamps, they can only use it at the food store and for certain things. So you give them a stipend that you give to a landlord, and the landlord takes it to the government, and they give him. You know, I mean so it's not really cash.
Remember when they were people on food stamps were getting lobsters?
But anyway, we got to try something. Let's say it costs 3 times that. Let's say it costs 20 billion, 21 billion. It's
still better than blowing up an entire country for 20 years. I'm on board 100%.
That's right.
Try just throwing it. You know what? Actually, just throwing it at homeless people, the money would be a better spending than
what we're doing.
Exactly right.
Exactly right. Then putting it in bombs and blowing up brown people around the world, which is what we do with it. Hey, come see one of our live stand-up shows December 10th or 17th or New Year's Eve at the Two Roads Theater in Studio City, California. See you there. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all tickets.